What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. MTG here with another episode. If you're new to the channel, hi there. So as you can tell, I have the iPadOS 16 beta on my iPad mini 6, which was one of my favorite purchases of 2021, and in my opinion, my favorite iPad of all time. Yes, that's just my preference and my opinion. You may agree or not, but that's for a different story. Now, I want to talk about iPadOS 16 on the iPad mini 6 and really just share my thoughts about this whole new beta and how we're missing out on a bunch of features just because we don't have an M1 chip. So without further delay, let's dive right in. All right, so with iPadOS 16, the biggest inclusion feature-wise is Stage Manager. And this pretty much, in essence, you can overlap and resize apps, and recently apps are put to the side, and M1 iPads also have external display support. That is something a lot of people were looking for in their iPads, including myself. And if you just imagine, that would be pretty cool on the iPad. Yeah, it'd be a little bit mushed up because of this small 8.3-inch screen size, but nonetheless, that still would have been really cool to see on the iPad mini. But we don't have it because it's only for M1 iPads. This runs the A15 Bionic, which debuted in 2013, which is the same chipset found in the iPhone 13 series, which is super powerful. Yes, it's a really powerful chipset, but since it's not M1, it doesn't support it. So there is that. We're already missing out on probably the best feature in iPadOS 16. So I'm hoping for something like an iPad mini Pro. I mean, one can only dream of something like that. I mean, it is a very, very small niche of those who enjoy the iPad mini and would like to have an iPad mini Pro. Now, another thing that iPadOS 16 in general doesn't have is the calculator app. That's right, it doesn't have a native calculator app. Why? I don't understand. Sometimes there has been an instance or two where I wanted to pull up a calculator. I'm like, oh, there's no calculator app on the iPad. So we're really missing out on that. Another thing that we're not getting, and this one is actually for all iPads, is going to be the iOS 16 lock screen customizations. We're not getting it with any single iPad. So we're just getting a change in the font right here, and that's it. But with iOS 16, we can customize widgets. We can add widgets more so. We can customize and change the font of the lock screen and all that. We have a bunch of different ways of making the lock screen of our iPhone ours and showcase who we are, but not with iPadOS 16. So we're kind of hoping that that does come out next year with iPadOS 17. Now, I talked about what we don't have with iPad mini 6, and I think the biggest one was Stage Manager. So can we really call this, iPadOS 16? Because we are getting some exclusive features for Pro devices. But what we do have is, number one, we have the weather app. That is right, we have the weather app. We finally have a native weather app on the iPad. And this one's included on all iPads nonetheless, but we still have, this one actually has a lot of different information, which looks pretty good. I absolutely like this layout. But that's really it. We have the weather app, finally, but still no calculator app. Another change that we also have is obviously with iMessage, you are able to edit and unsend messages, and you can also use SharePlay while in iMessage. This also works with iPadOS, and there's really good voice dictation. A personal feature that I like with iPadOS 16, which is also included in iOS 16, is going to be the fact that, let's say I go to this right here. I took this picture when the iPad mini 6 first came out, and I want to just crop out this iPad right here. Well, it's going to pull the iPhone and the iPad. Let's say that I want to just crop out both of those. So I'm just going to hold on it, and I'm going to go out of there. And let's say I want to go to Notes. So let's click right here, Add. There we go. So we have saved that as an image. Done. and we can actually use that to create a new wallpaper or to create a new thumbnail for your YouTube video. Who knows? But hopefully that is going to help me out a lot. I remember back then I would have to kind of edit my way, Photoshop my way out of it and kind of do it that way, but I feel like this one's going to be easier. Is it 100% accurate? No, but definitely that's what came to my mind when I first saw this new feature. There's definitely a bunch of other new features found in iPadOS 16, just like the changes in the mail and everything like that. However, I just want to talk about the fact that we're missing out on a bunch of M1 exclusive features on not even just the iPad mini 6, but the 2020 iPad Pros, the iPad Airs of the world, and how it's not really fully iPadOS 16. They definitely have their reasons as to why they didn't add that feature and a couple other features like external display support. However, I don't know. I just don't feel like this is really 100% like the iPadOS experience that we're getting on the Pros. Yes, I know it's to kind of differentiate Pro and non-Pro, but I mean, I think we should have a Pro in every single lineup. So if there's a Mini, please make a iPhone or iPad Mini Pro. That would be super awesome. This is a powerful device. The A15 Bionic chipset is probably more powerful than 2020 iPad's A14 Bionic chip. I mean, we got a super portable device right here. Imagine, I'm pretty sure they want to put an M1 because of obvious reasons, maybe battery life and this and that. Maybe just make it a little bit thicker and add some heft to it and put an M1 maybe. That would be pretty dope. Kind of differentiate the iPad lineup, just the base iPads with M1 and like the Pros with M2 that come out in the future. Who knows? They might do that, but I hope that they are able to add this type of feature like Stage Manager that's also in macOS Ventura, but I hope they add that type of feature into their lower end devices, I guess you can call it, which are still pretty powerful, like the iPad mini 6. But that's really been it. I didn't really see too much of a huge visual change. There's obviously like inbuilt software changes that I'm going to continue to play around with. But that's my thoughts on iPadOS 16 on iPad mini 6. If you did enjoy, be sure to superman that like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video because it really does help out the channel a lot and will help push my content out to more people. And peep out the new wallpaper pack, Neapolitan. If you want to take a look at it, I'll be leaving links in the description down below. It really would mean a lot. You just saw iPadOS 16 on the iPad mini 6. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.